Welcome back to Mindful Serenity Yoga. And tonight we're going to do a loving kindness meditation, or at least the first part of that loving kindness meditation. This exercise comes from one of my favorite teachers of all time, Thich Nhat Hanh. And though he has passed on, he leaves this legacy of this type of meditation practice behind. In a video, and I will show the link below of where the video comes from and where these ideas and these mantras come from. He expresses that in order to do loving kindness for others, we must first begin with loving kindness towards ourselves. So this first section will be geared towards developing a sense of understanding and compassion for self, so that we can eventually have greater understanding, compassion, and loving kindness for others, or maitri as it's called in Sanskrit or Pali. What we're going to do with this is a guided meditation using the mala beads, which I will go over in a minute. And today we will focus on loving kindness toward ourselves. The next video will be directed towards loving kindness towards a particular other who we feel is suffering, possibly someone we love, someone in a special relationship. We gear these same mantras towards that individual, or in some cases maybe one or two individuals. And thirdly, we are going to gear our mantras and our wishes to the entire world, and especially to those who maybe we are holding a grudge against, or we're finding it difficult to forgive for whatever reason. So that will be the focus on the third day, would be for those people, and for the world at large. What we're going to do is the guided meditation with the mantras. He also suggests that on our first day, especially when we're directing loving kindness towards ourselves, that we take a few minutes to reflect on the seeds within us, and those seeds that have manifested into actual expressions of outgoing tendencies. He says within us we all have the seeds for joy and happiness, love and compassion. So though we may feel that we're just not kind enough to be compassionate towards ourselves or others, we all have those seeds within us, and we just need to water them, recognize them first of all, touch them and water them so that they grow and manifest into our psyches and into our lives. Thich Nhat Hanh always referred to the subconscious mind as the store consciousness, and the conscious mind, the mind from which we tend to act to make our choices, as the mind itself. So when I'm talking about those seeds, I'm talking about the seeds that are deep in our subconscious or store consciousness that we want to develop and grow and nurture so that they manifest in our psyches and in our real life experiences. So we all have the seeds of joy and happiness and the seeds of loving kindness within us. We just need to water them with the activities and the choices and practices like this. So we first of all recognize those seeds. We take a few minutes to reflect on the seeds that are within us, to recognize that they are there. And then we find ways to water them, like this particular practice or other things that may water them. We also need to take time to see how some of our seeds have already manifested and are full blown of the good things and I don't like to use the words good or bad, but the wholesome things that we're doing out there that benefit ourselves and other people and benefit the world at large. So many of those seeds we've already manifested. So many of those seeds have already grown, and with our help. We may have kindness for certain animals, kindness for certain people. We may be involved in things that are better for the planet. Whatever, but we want to be able to take time to reflect on those things as well, so we see how these seeds can actually grow and how they have grown. Thirdly, we need to take time to reflect on the seeds that maybe we do not want to grow, the unwholesome seeds that are within us as well. We all have seeds for anger and greed and fear, anxiety, even violence within us. And we need to be able to recognize those seeds so that we don't allow them to grow unmindfully up into the psyche. And we recognize them and we find ways to avoid them being triggered and grown. Like maybe we have to stop watching certain violent TV programs on TV, watch the way we speak about others, or allow others to speak to us, or any of those things. So we really need to be mindful of those seeds and the things that trigger them and help them to grow, and do our best not to let them grow. They will grow. In many of us, we're human beings, so some of those things will grow and manifest in the psyches and in our lives, and they may be very unwholesome for us and for other individuals, and we need to recognize the ones that have grown. Once they've grown, we don't know how to deny them, resist them, struggle against them, push them down, say that's not happening, let's project it outward and say someone else is being aggressive, I'm not aggressive, or whatever. We need to recognize them in ourselves, have them sit beside us, show compassion and mindfulness and awareness for them, and compassion, understanding for ourselves for having them, and then we just watch them go. We can transmute them with positive seeds that have already grown, or into full-blown emotions and expressions of wholesomeness, and focus on that and bring those positivity back into our lives, so that the unwholesome, or what we may tend to call negative things, are transmuted and not that prevalent in our lives. Our goal is always to have more wholesome seeds grown up into the psyche, into our life experience, than the unwholesome. So we're just being mindful, aware, and very compassionate, understanding with ourselves and with these seeds as they do manifest, so that they do not stay within us because we are trying to avert them or cling to them. So we take a few minutes to reflect on that as well in this practice of loving kindness toward the self. And thirdly, he suggested, which I had done today on my walk in the woods, is to touch the earth 5 times. We touch the earth, and when we do the first time, we think of all our ancestors, our blood ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, our loved ones who were related to us by blood, who have passed on. And we feel gratitude for them and all that's with all of them that is still within us. The second time we touch the earth, we broaden our sense of ancestry to all humans, to all beings, sentient beings that may still in some way biologically be in us, and all living things that are within us, that type of ancestry. Thirdly, we think of those ascended beings who have used suffering, used whatever to get beyond the human tendencies that lead to unwholesomeness, and have become wholesome in their higher consciousness, like Buddha and Christ, and if you're Hindu, Shiva or Krishna, and if you're Muslim, Allah. We think of these amazing ascended teachers who have lived in a state of higher consciousness and peace, and we touch the earth in reference for them and reference for what they've taught, and with hope that we too will reach some state similar to theirs. Fourthly, we touch the earth in gratitude for the earth, in gratitude for the spirit energy that is there, for the vibration of the earth itself, all the plants and animals and microorganisms, and the sky and the water and the soil itself, for fire and smoke and steam and mist and everything that makes up this planet, and all those who have walked upon it be prior to us and have helped to make it what it is so that we live so comfortably now. Fifthly, we touch the earth in hope of finding within ourselves, beyond the gratitude, forgiveness for those maybe we and those people and those things that we have a hard time forgiving, that we have blamed or projected our pain upon, thinking that they were the cause of it, and maybe not let go of that. So we pray for forgiveness when we touch the earth the 5th time, and at the same time hoping that the earth will forgive us for what we've done to the planet in our own unconscious choices. So that touching the earth is the 3rd part of what Thich Nhat Hanh calls the loving kindness meditation towards self. So we do the guided meditation, which I'm going to guide you through right now. We do the reflection on the seeds, both the wholesome and unwholesome seeds within us and their manifestations. And then we touch the earth 5 times for those reasons that I've just discussed. And you may think this is a very Buddhist tradition, and you may not consider yourself Buddhist, but really it's just what I consider a human type of meditation to make us all better human beings. And I don't care what affiliation or what religion you belong to. I'm talking about bettering ourselves as human beings and bettering the world at large by maintaining a sense of understanding, compassion, and peace for ourselves so that we can grow and learn to pass that understanding, compassion, and peace on to others. So right now we'll get to the guided meditation session, and I will use my mala, and I will encourage you, if you have a mala, to use it as well. I want you to focus on your breath going in when you're breathing in, and focus on your breath going out when you're breathing out. And just hold the breath. When we get to the 108 breaths, just hold the bead, or the 108 beads, because if you have a mala like this, it has 109. I'll have the lotus flower and a bead on top, the 109th bead, where I do a centering breath before I begin my 108 count of the following beads. So we'll just do a breath in like we've been taught on the in-breath, a breath out on the next bead. There's a pause as there is a little rope between each bead. Then the in-breath again, pause, out-breath. You're not forcing the breaths once we get to 108, getting to these 108 beads. We're simply being aware of them and observing the way they feel in our bodies, the sensation of the belly rising on the in-breath, the sensation of the belly falling on the out-breath. And we're going to just be aware of breath, focusing on the breath and the feel of the mala beads in between our fingers as we move along from one in-breath to one out-breath, from one out-breath to one in-breath, for the continuation of the rosary, which just means bead of roses, and it's not affiliated with any religion, though we tend to think it is a Catholic thing. So we're going to use the mala beads as we begin, and I'm going to use the lotus flower again as a reminder of our need to transform our suffering, our need to transform those unwholesome seeds which lead to unwholesome actions and unwholesome lives into wholesome ones. Suffering can lead us into a higher state of consciousness. It can lead us into a higher state of being. And that's what the lotus flower reminds me of course, because the lotus grows in mud. It needs the mud to grow. And we all can be transformed through our own sense of suffering and the suffering of others. So we'll do 2 grounding breaths. I will use the lotus for the first grounding breath, and the 109th bead for the second grounding breath. I want you first of all to be seated away in an area that you're not going to be easily interrupted. And if interruptions do come once you've done all you have control of doing, that's perfectly okay. We're just going to encourage them into our practice and accept them and allow them to be what they are. So I want you seated in a chair for this particular exercise. Have the soles of your feet touching the earth and feel that connection, which is so important when we're talking about loving kindness. Feel the connection of the earth and the soles of your feet. Feel your sits bones grounded on the chair, again connecting to the earth. You can rest your hands on your palms with your beads. Comme ça, if you're going to hold them like this and move along and support them with the palms facing upward, with this a gesture of allowing and willingness. And you can close your eyes, or you can keep your gaze down and relaxed if you so prefer. That is your choice. Please stay alert but relaxed as much as possible through this. I will say the affirmations as you focus on your breathing, so that these will settle into your subconscious, hopefully, and you will still be maintaining a state of relaxation and breath awareness, which is a sense of mindfulness that takes you away from all the other thoughts and mental stuff going on in our heads. If the thoughts do come in, even past my voice and past what you're hearing, just remind yourself once again, and you catch yourself, just bring yourself back to the field of beads in your fingers, the sound of my voice and your breath. And so we shall begin. Again, I will have my beads up high so you can see them, but again, your beads may be down close to your lap. I'm holding onto the lotus flower. My eyes are relaxed, my body is positioned. I feel the soles of the feet against the earth. I feel the sits bones against a chair. I'm going to take a deep breath in for 4 counts. Just triggering my breath awareness. Pausing and exhaling for 6 counts. Another pause. Again, I'm going to take another centering breath, breathing in as I hold on to the 109th beat. If you don't have 109 beats, hold on to the lotus again for another breath. Breathing in for 4 counts. Pausing and breathing out for 6. We're ready to start our counting of the beads, and you're just going to be aware of your breath. So you're going to hold the first bead, breathing in, feel the sensation of the body, belly rising. Light pause and breathing out at your own pace and your own rhythm, feeling the belly descend. You are not controlling the breaths for the remainder of these bead counts. You're simply noticing and moving your fingers along with every in-breath. Moving your fingers towards the second bead with every out-breath. Breathing in again at your own pace, your own rhythm, and breathing out. So just be aware of your own natural breath. Allow it to flow naturally. Allow your body to relax naturally into the breath. As you move along from bead to bead. In breath for 1 bead. Pause, noticing the pause, exhaling for the next bead. And now I will begin the mantras as you keep your eyes relaxed, your body relaxed. May I be peaceful and light in mind and body. May I be safe and free from accidents. May I be free from anger, fear, and any of the other unwholesome mental states. May I know how to look at myself with eyes of compassion and understanding. May I be able to recognize and touch the seeds of happiness and joy within myself. May I learn to nourish myself with joy each day. May I learn to be fresh, solid, and free. May I cultivate freedom from indifference, from attachment, and from aversion. I want you to envision yourself as a child, vulnerable state, depending on you for nourishment and for nurturing. And once again, we'll begin again. May I be peaceful and light in mind and body. As you continue to hold on to the bead with 1 breath in, go to the next bead with 1 breath out. May I be safe and free from accidents. May I be free from anger and fear or any of the other unwholesome mental states. May I learn to look at myself with eyes of understanding and compassion. May I recognize and touch the seeds of joy and happiness within myself. May I learn to nourish myself with joy each day. May I learn to be fresh and solid and free. May I cultivate freedom from indifference, from attachment, and from aversion. Focus on your breath. With every in-breath, you're moving to one bead, feeling the bead within your fingers. Feeling the belly rise. There's a pause there naturally, and with every out-breath, feel the belly descending. Feel the next bead within your fingers. Moving the fingers on the in-breath, pausing and then moving them on the out-breath, naturally at your own rate. Own breath rhythm, your own depth. Just noticing and observing your own breath. May I be peaceful and light in body and mind. May I be safe and free from accidents. May I be free from anger and fear and any of the other unwholesome mental states. May I learn to look at myself with eyes of understanding and compassion. May I recognize the seeds of happiness and joy within myself. May I learn to nourish myself with joy each day. May I learn to be fresh and solid and free. May I cultivate freedom from indifference, from attachment, and from aversion. May I be peaceful and light in body and mind. May I be safe and free from accidents. May I be free from anger and fear and any of the other unwholesome mental states. May I learn to look at myself with eyes of compassion and understanding. May I recognize the seeds of joy and happiness within myself. May I learn to nourish myself with joy each day. May I learn to be fresh and solid and free. And finally, may I cultivate freedom from indifference, from attachment, and from aversion. Back to your breath as you move your fingers along to the final breaths. Breathing in, move your fingers to the bead. Feel the bead and sensation. Feel the belly rising and falling on the out-breath. Sense the natural pause between each bead, between each in-breath and out-breath, each out-breath and in-breath. Breathing, allowing those mantras to settle into your core, into your star consciousness. Allowing the seeds, the wholesome seeds, to grow. Feel the soles of the feet touching your contact points on your chair, the backs of the hands on your thighs, the weight of the beads in your hands. Slowly, ever so slowly, take a deep breath in, feeling the belly expand, pausing and blowing out for 6 counts. And again, breath in, pausing naturally and exhaling. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, gently lift your eyes to look around you. Please continue with the other components of this loving meditation towards yourself. Touch the earth 5 times. Reflect on your own seeds, encouraging the wholesome ones to grow. Those seeds of compassion and loving kindness are within you, just as the seeds of happiness and joy are. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful evening.